Diets just never feel like they fit you. And the gym? It's never really been your thing. Still, you've tried. More times than you can count. For over 20 years, you keep coming back, hoping this time will finally be different. And for a while, it works. You see real change. Real big progress. But then, slowly something starts to slip. The routine breaks. The results fade. And before you know it, you were right back at the beginning. Not because you're weak. Not because you didn't try hard enough, but because deep down, that path was never truly built for you. Does it feel like you're stuck? Like you're sinking in quicksand? Good. That feeling usually means one thing. Something has to change. Here's the truth. When a problem feels impossible, it's often because you keep trying to solve it the same way, over and over again. More effort isn't always the answer. A smarter approach is, shift your perspective, and things start to click. What once felt confusing becomes clear. What once felt impossible suddenly feels manageable. So take a look at your horizon. What do you see? There are 4 letters right there. Simple but hugely powerful and effective. NEAT. NEAT stands for non-exercise activity thermogenesis and is the energy you burn doing everything that isn't sleeping, eating, or structured exercise. I'm talking about walking, standing, doing chores, playing with your kids, walking your dog, gardening, swimming in the sea. In other words, all those small movements you barely notice but that quietly adding up in a powerful way. Too often, we think the key is working out, that those who manage to maintain a toned physique over the years are simply the ones who stay consistent in the gym. But in reality, those who achieve this kind of result are often just the people who live a more active daily life, the ones who take the stairs instead of the elevator, who ride a bike to work instead of driving, who enjoy a walk after dinner instead of lying on the couch. In short, the people who, without seemingly doing anything special, keep moving consistently throughout the entire day. It's hardly to believe, but differences in NEAT can account for up to 2,000 calories per day between individuals of similar body size. So what actually creates this difference? Well, it all comes down to occupation and lifestyle. Some people spend most of their day sitting, at home, at work, on the bus. Others are constantly on the move, walking, standing, carrying, doing. And that difference is massive. I know what you're thinking. Okay, but how can I actually do this? And more importantly, what results can I really expect? Let me give you a simple example. Rob and Bob are 2 cousins working in the city. They're both 35 years old, same job, with a similar body type, but completely different lifestyles. Let's take a closer look at them. Rob has always been into role-playing games and fast motorcycles, which he uses for every single commute. He's all about comfort, always choosing the easy way every single time. A dedicated financial analyst and a true workaholic, Rob never leaves his desk during working hours. For lunch, he takes the elevator up to the 32nd floor restaurant, where he enjoys a cold coffee while waiting to get back to work, always with the same relentless focus. At 6 p.m., he's back on his Ducati. After a quick stop at the corner supermarket, he heads home for an exciting session of the Elder Scrolls. Bob, on the other hand, never uses the elevator or even escalators. He's passionate about cycling and about his 2 bulldogs, Sky, just 2, and Rose, 5, to whom he dedicates at least 30 minutes before and after work. 30 minutes might not sound like much, but for his 4-legged friends, it's everything they need. Since his promotion, Bob now has a private office on the 5th floor of the skyscraper right across from Rob's, and he finally treated himself to a standing desk and an under-desk treadmill. At first, it wasn't easy to get used to, but now he never drops below 60 minutes of movement per day. For lunch, he keeps it quick, so he can run errands during the day. And in the evening, he's back at the park for another half hour with Sky and Rose. You're right. At first glance, they look like 2 completely normal lives. Not even that different, really. But are you sure? Let's break it down. I won't bore you by reading every single line of the table. If you want to see the details of each individual action our 2 friends take, just pause the video. But the key takeaway, the one you should really remember, is the last row. The total calories burned. As you can see, between 7 a.m. and 6 p.m., Rob burns around 1,100 calories. Bob, on the other hand, burns over 2,000, and it's a massive difference. Built on nothing more than small daily habits. I'm not saying you need to buy 2 dogs or start cycling through city traffic at 50 years old, but adding a few small changes into your routine is much easier than you think, and it can lead to incredible results. Because here's the truth. A behavior takes anywhere from 21 to 100 days to become a habit. After that, it becomes automatic. Something you do without even thinking. But that still delivers real, lasting results. And just think about this for a moment. To lose 1 kilogram of fat, you need a calorie deficit of around 7,000 calories. Bob burns around 245 calories a day just by using the stairs. That's 7,350 calories in a month, and 88,200 in a year. Would you ever believe that this number equals more than 12 kilos? Would you ever believe that, without changing anything else in your life, just by removing the elevator, you could drop 2 clothing sizes in a year? No diet, no gym, just a different, soft way of moving through your day. Now, what if you work from home in a beautiful house where there aren't many opportunities to take the stairs? Then you adapt. You invest in a standing desk or even an underdesk treadmill. This way, Bob burns over 200 calories a day. That's 6,000 a month, 72,000 a year. In kilos? Around 10. 10. Number aside, the most important aspect is this. These small changes are not perceived by your brain as a real effort or a major sacrifice. And that matters. Because it means they don't trigger what's known as the compensation effect. What is that? In simple terms, it often happens that when we force ourselves to exercise in order to lose weight, our mind starts to reward that effort. Those few hours of struggle during the week feel like enough to justify something extra later on. A heavily loaded pizza on Saturday night, an extra biscuit at breakfast, an ice cream after dinner while lying on the couch. And without even realizing it, the effort we made gets canceled out. That's the trap. But with small, constant lifestyle changes, this mechanism is far less likely to kick in, because nothing feels like a big sacrifice in the first place. Let's look at the numbers. Let's say you go running for 3 hours a week, burning around 2,700 calories. A great result. The problem is what happens next. A heavily loaded pizza can easily reach 1,300 calories. 7 extra biscuits across the week add another 500. And a couple of portions of ice cream in the evening on the couch? That's easily another 1,500. So in total, you burn 2,700 calories, but you add 3,300. Now you see why this overcompensation effect has so often made all your sacrifices feel useless. But when you introduce the small changes we talked about, this dangerous mechanism doesn't even get triggered. Because honestly, who would think they've earned an extra biscuit every morning just for taking the stairs instead of the elevator? You wouldn't. And that's where the real magic happens. I promised you, small changes, big results.